30 years of joyfulness. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight.
Well, this bulletin is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Well, tonight, Inspector General of Police Christian Tete Yohunu says suspects involved in the Ablekuma North election violence will be put before court by Friday as he and other police chiefs meet executives of the Ghana Journalists Association to provide update on investigations.
8 suspects have been arrested. Yesterday, they are being processed, and from the advice I had from the regional commander, means that tomorrow they will put them before court.
We'll hear from the GJA president on this.
Also in the news, Deputy Roads Minister Alhassan Suhuyini offers apology to motorists over the poor of Fankor in Sawam Road as he promises the road will be completed within schedule.
Apologize to all motorists on that stretch, and it is our hope that before the end of this year, some significant improvement would have been noticed on that road.
We have details on the Public Accounts Committee where members express anger at the Council of State and Office of Government Machinery for appearing before the committee over half an hour late.
I was to come with them, and I asked that because there were a few things that I needed to tidy up in the office. So I asked that they should take the lead.
Come and discharge your mandates per the responsibility you have taken, and you are running away from that responsibility. Please take the Public Accounts Committee serious.
Also tonight, Roads and Highways Ministry orders the removal of unauthorized at the Flower Port interchange, citing non-compliance with national advertising and road safety regulations.
Today, which is 20th August, we saw the Ministry of Roads and Highways issue a statement to say that this billboard has been unauthorized. We got here and we realized that the billboard had been taken off.
So who authorized the mounting of this billboard will seek answers in the next 60 minutes in business.
Some oil marketing companies finally adjust prices at the pumps in line with industry projection, but market leader Star Oil keeps to the old values.
And in sports, 3 days to go until the 2025 Joy Sports Invitational Tournament.
Of course, we've got the latest of these and many other stories coming up tonight. My name is Kenneth Jesse.
My name is Pelo Furi.
This is where we begin, as the Inspector General of Police, Christian Yohunu, has disclosed that 8 suspects arrested in connection with the violence that marred the recent election in Ablekuma North constituency will be arraigned before court from tomorrow. Speaking to journalists, the IGP revealed that the suspects were being processed as of Monday, and based on briefings from the regional commander, the legal proceedings will commence either Thursday or Friday. And according to him, the police service is making steady progress and is committed to ensuring that justice is served for any electoral infractions or professional misconduct.
There were these assault issues that were mentioned, and then the Accra Regional Commander, as at yesterday, had got 8 suspects. 8 suspects have been arrested. Yesterday, they are being processed, and from the advice I had from the regional commander means that tomorrow they will put them before court. Later, either tomorrow or Friday, one of these days, all these suspects will be put before court. So we are making progress, and then we'll make sure that whatever happens, justice will be done to those people who, in one way or the other, did not do their work in a professional manner. The GJA president mentioned the incident in Kumasi during the Council of State elections. Yes, I've just got the information that investigations have been conducted, and then the victims have been given medical forms. As of today, they have not brought their medical forms for the suspects to be put before court. And so I've asked the regional commander to trace the victims and make sure that the medical reports that were given to them, for them to give it to the doctors to endorse, they return those medical reports so that the next step of going to court will be initiated. whether we are safe to continue or you can go to Ablekuma, you can go to Akwetia. What I want to say is that Akwetia will be very safe. Just today we went to, myself and my management team, we went to, that is Hunya or Echremati, where we have the high risk operational training taking place. We went to visit the officers. That is the first batch of officers that will be deployed starting today. That is about 600 men who will handle all risk operations in the course of the election duties. About 600 people have been trained. And some of the media personnel who follow us, they saw exactly what happened. The preparedness to conduct search to ensure that nothing dangerous is concealed in a vehicle or in a motorbike that can cause any trouble during elections. And also preparing the men who will be at the ground so that if somebody intends to use a weapon to snatch a ballot box, the precision in dealing with that particular suspect was also demonstrated when we went to the ground. If there should be somebody who can climb the tallest building in Akwetia, we have the men, and the men have gone through that rappelling training.
So that was the IGP, Christian Yohunu. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the National Media Commission, Dr. George Sapon, has been defending the NMC's silence on the attacks on journalists in recent months. According to him, the NMC can only act on an alleged assault on a journalist if a case is officially reported to them.
Every case is for the persons involved to make a complaint to the Commission. And I think that sometimes it's also important that we learn. For journalists who follow public institutions and their authority, you may recall the particular case of Dr. Anane with Sraj, in which Sraj gave very clear, the Supreme Court gave very clear instructions on what Sraj, for example, should do when a matter is either reported or not reported to them. And it seems to me that we all need to be guided by that. We have said this over and over again, that where an incident happens, journalists or their media houses must make the effort to report to the National Media Commission in order to activate the processes of the Commission.
So that was the Executive Secretary of the National Media Commission, Dr. George Sapon. Kenneth, you attended this press conference. We know that the GJA president was there, Albert Kwabena Jumfo. What did he say?
Well, Albert Kwabena Jumfo, as always, was very passionate about these incidents of attacks on journalists. However, he commended the Ghana Police Service for how they have responded to the intended blackout. You do recall that about a fortnight ago, they threatened that they were going to, black out the Ghana Police Service if they do not bring a disclosure to the attacks on journalists, especially at the Akwetia by-election. But he said that more needs to be done. However, he said he was a bit satisfied with the closure that has been brought to our own reporter, Latif Idris, who was, assaulted when he was covering an event some months back at Yoko. He said that at least that is the only incident of attacks on journalists that he saw that the Ghana Police Service has been able to deal with.
As we speak now, the only one that I can say that the police shown professionalism in terms of commitment in ensuring that the law takes its course was the attack on our brother Latif Idrisu during just in front of Yoko, during the arrest of Chairman Untumi, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. We are aware and we commend them for going after the perpetrators, arresting a suspect in relation to this attack, and processing this suspect before the court. And the court also did not sleep on it. They remanded the suspect into police custody for 2 weeks. In recent years, I can say that this is the highest success we've chopped so far in terms of attacks on the media. And I want to commend the current IGP that it happened under his tenure. Aside that, there has been numerous attacks. 6 of our members were attacked in Kumasi during the Council of State elections. As we speak, we are yet to hear from the police whether the perpetrators of this attack have been arrested. And if so, what has been or what is the state of investigation in that matter? And this happened in the early days of the year. We also recorded one attack involving Ohime Teria of Multimedia, was also attacked in the Ashanti region by Sam Tax when he has gone to a mining site to discharge his duty. Also same were attack of 3 journalists in the Western region who were also attacked in the Sengregua area when they have gone to also discharge their constitutional duty by ensuring protecting our environment and ensuring that our water bodies are safe.
So that there is the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jumfor, there. Let's go on to the telephone lines and speak to media advocate Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe. Dr. Ashigbe, thank you very much for joining me this evening. You were one of the first persons to call out the NMC for their inaction during the attacks, the various attacks on journalists, especially this year. I want you to listen to what the NMC boss told me when I asked him why they haven't officially communicated anything on these various attacks, and we'll continue the conversation. Please listen.
Every case is for the persons involved to make a complaint to the commission. And I think that sometimes it's also important that we learn. For journalists who follow public institutions and their authority, you may recall the particular case of Dr. Anane Wesraj.
Dr. Ashigbe, I believe I still have you on the line. So that is the NMC boss. Well, he says that they have not been vocal or said anything about this particular attacks on journalists because the journalists have not been reporting these incidents of attacks to them. Is that a fair point?
You see, George is my friend. He is my comrade in several fights. We fight together in several fights. But in this particular situation, I have disagreed with him in the past. I disagree with him today. I will disagree with him tomorrow. How is it there's a public record of journalists being attacked? Is he telling us that Ahmed Tuale should wake up from his grave and come and petition the NMC before they act? The people have been beaten. You see people attacked. There are reports of it, of the attacks that have been done. I don't see how the NMC is quiet. And my question is that who is our current NMC president? How is it that this NMC president is so quiet? What is the representation? How is this representation on the NMC line? You know, we have right, so the GJ should also wait. You think that all the people who have been beating are GJ members? They are not. But when you have the situation, that you have the National Media Commission, a commission that has been set up to push the frontiers of the freedom of speech, I am not too sure that we should be sitting and say that if people have not come to petition the NMC when there is ample evidence that this crime have been committed against journalists. You think those who publish the media freedom of speech report, you think they get report from anybody? So I think that the NMC, in whatever form or shape, should change the mode in which they work. When there is attacks on the media like this in present day, and the number at which it is happening, the level at which it's happening, they should not be waiting and putting that burden on the journalists to say they have to come and report before. The NMC should be proactive and should be working into making sure that they can protect journalists. It's one of the things that really hurts me. And I'm praying that George and the NMC would deal with it. But you know the interesting thing? George is the executive secretary. The commissioners of the NMC, they are failing us the most. They are the commissioners. And for me, the reason why I supported the candidature of the current GJA president has been his consistent stand in protecting journalists. And I think that is admirable. And I'm hoping that after today's meeting with the IGP, we will start seeing some action so far as these things are concerned. The issues of Latif, where Latif was beating at the police headquarters itself, and the police headquarters will tell us that they don't have evidence of it. I'm hoping that as IGP, he will start correcting these things. And his correction of these things will have to start with the incidents that have been occasioned by the police itself before he starts looking at it. Definitely the issue about the policeman who beat up the GH1 journalist. I don't know what has happened to that particular person.
Well, Dr. Ashigbe, to be fair to the police service, today the IGP did indicate that investigations are still ongoing, and they have in fact forwarded the docket of that particular police officer to the AG for advice, and whatever advice they get, they'll move it from there. So at least the IGP did indicate to us today that they are on it.
Well, I think that's good news. My only challenge I have, sometimes when you have some of these happen and there's palpable evidence, video evidence of it, the time it takes for us to be able to investigate these things, take too long. You take the issues at what happened in Ablekuma Central, that as well. We've seen people with their, faces, the footages and all of that. But I think it is welcoming that the IGP would meet the GJA team. I missed it because I'm on national assignment elsewhere. And I think that this is a positive thing. All of us should support it. Especially for me, I would urge all media houses to take a cue from multimedia, where multimedia would support their own, and take even civil action in situations where the government is slowing down. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to start seeing some action. There is a situation of Pius who was shot at during one of the elections, I think the 2020 election. And currently, he had about 7 surgeries. We're looking for money for him to fly him into India to do several surgeries. Latif's case is still another case that is still there. We have the death as well, and that's several of them.
All right, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, thank you very much. He's a media advocate there.
Now, Kenneth, you know that for some days now we've been covering a story on the poor state of the Ofankor Pukwasi in Sawan Road.
Yes.
Well, the Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, Alhaji Suhuyini, has offered an apology to drivers and commuters along that stretch. The 33.4-kilometer pothole-riddled stretch has been in the news in the last few days over how passengers had to spend long hours in traffic because of its poor nature. Well, the contractor returned to the site 3 days ago after 2 transport unions, that's the GPRTU and the GRTCC, announced an indefinite strike if nothing is done. We'll hear from the Deputy Minister on issues surrounding the road shortly, but first, a lot has been happening at the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament today, and my colleague James Saveji joins us with details of all the drama. James, let's start with how proceedings grounded to a halt in the morning because, of course, some agencies like the Council of State and the Office of Government Machinery who were scheduled to appear came very late. What justification did they give?
Well, Pearl, these 2 agencies were supposed to be led, including others like the Northern Development Authority, the Zongo Development Authority, were all supposed to be led by the Chief Director of the Government of government machinery, Alhaji Abubakar Uwayo. And after the committee heard from the Defense Ministry, they summoned or they called for them to be seated, only to be told that the leader of the group, which is the chief director, was yet to appear in Parliament. In fact, earlier there was confusion over whether he is the one who is coming to represent the group, or it was going to be a deputy chief of staff from the presidency. And then the committee had to adjourn for over 30 minutes, waiting for them to appear before them. Eventually, they came, and the committee members were very unhappy about their lateness to the committee. They inquired why they were late, and this has been their justification, the two of them.
Honorable Chairman, we...
Where you were supposed to be at 10 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you show up at 10 o'clock?
Sir, a new acting executive secretary has been appointed to the Council of State, and I needed to clear some issues with him.
Okay.
Before
so a new executive director for Council of State.
Yes, sir.
And then the Parliament of Ghana. Which one would you respond to?
Parliament, sir.
Then why didn't you respond?
We are deeply sorry.
No. Deeply sorry is a different thing altogether. Why didn't you respond? Why did you think that the new executive secretary was more important than Parliament of Ghana?
Sir, we acknowledge that the executive secretary to the Council of State is not more important than members of this august committee.
At 10 for the meeting, as stipulated in the letter.
I was to come with them, and I asked that because there were a few things that I needed to tidy up in the office. So I asked that they should take the lead.
Chief Director, how long have you been with the ministry? Or how long have you been with the public service? 27 years. You should know better. I wasn't expecting you to come and give any explanation. But to just say that, yes, you received it, you are sorry, can we start? It cost the nation close to an hour because we're waiting for you.
Well, James, it looked like the woes of the chief director were not over when proceedings resumed, because the committee did not take kindly to some of his justifications for some of the financial violations committed by the Northern Development Authority. Tell us more.
Yes, Phil. So two key violations were unrecovered salary allowance offered to some staff of the Northern Development Authority amounting to over 500,000 cedis, and a 10-year-old debt that the authority, was unable to collect, which amounts to over 82 million Ghana cedis. Now, in the providing answers to that, it became clear that, according to the words of the account given by the chief director, that this State Development Authority became more or less a political tool that government used to for some activities. He said, although they have been captured under the Office of Government Machinery, they were more answerable to the Ministry of Finance than the Office of Government Machinery, which led to a bit of a clash between him and the chairperson, Abna Osasari. You know that she was a former Minister of State in charge of the Finance Ministry. Yeah. This is exactly what ensued between the two of them.
When this Ministry of Special Development, when it was reduced to a secretariat, that was when they offloaded them to OGM. And they were still operating as if they had their ministry elsewhere. And permit me to say that Ministry of Finance encouraged this. There were issues that I said, look, you are under OGM, let your...
Where was their budget? Pardon? Where was their budget placed? Which entity had their budget?
It was placed under Office of Government Machinery.
Thank you. Thank you.
We didn't have control over how they were...
If a budget is placed under you and you sit on TV and tell Ghanaians that the budget was under you, you were in charge of their budget, but you did not have control, then we are in trouble here. Because
I'm not cutting you short. That's why I mentioned Ministry of Finance.
Respectfully, the budget sits with Office of Government Machinery. Every allocation, every disbursement will have to be authorized by Office of Government Machinery before.
And that was not the case here. Let's be very honest.
And so,
that wasn't the case
then
here.
the auditors, I think you still have to go back to Office of Government Machinery and do a thorough job.
Unravel that as well.
James, briefly talk to us about the apology offered by the Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways.
Well, when he appeared before the committee, the Vice Chairman, David Opoku Ansah, asked the public interest question about the issue that has been boiling over the past few days. He said he himself and on behalf of his minister apologized to commuters, and they are committed as a government to complete that project.
Honorable Chair, I have my minister's permission to first of all apologize to all motorists on that stretch. It's one of the hot potatoes that we inherited at the ministry. By the time we got to the ministry, the contractor, like many other contractors across the country, had already abandoned site due to non-payment. And we have been working with the finance minister to ensure that we get some releases to these contractors so they can go back to complete some of these very critical projects. Fortunately, the finance minister has been cooperative. In the past, even before releases were made, we had meetings with some of these contractors, and based on assurances, some of them agreed to go back to site, for which we are very grateful. Some haven't been able to because of obvious reasons. But this particular contractor, fortunately, as we speak, has received some payment and has now adequately mobilized back to site. And it is our hope that before the end of this year, some significant improvement would have been noticed on that road. And so it's not just, and it's not going to be a 9-day wonder. He's back to site to continue with the projects. And we are very confident that it will now be within schedule.
James, so which ministries are expected to appear tomorrow? Hello, James? Hello, James. I'm asking which ministries are expected to appear tomorrow. Unfortunately, we've lost James Aveji on the line. But thankfully, let's go onto the telephone lines and speak to the Vice Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament, Davis Opoku Ansah. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. You, in an earlier interview with my colleague James Aveji, expressed reservation about what transpired today. Should they not have been cited for contempt of Parliament to serve as a deterrent? I understand we don't have Davis on the line. Do we have him on the line? Yes, I'm told we do. Davis Opoku Ansah is the Vice Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. I was asking earlier if they should not be cited for contempt to serve as a deterrent.
Yes, I think that should be the right thing to do. But you see, there was a bit of confusion if you were to listen to what the Chief Director said. Some of these agencies act as if they are autonomous. I mean, they act on their own and would not listen to what some Chief Directors tell them. This whole creation of Northern Development Authority came out of SADA, and there's been a lot of transition that has gone on. So we were a bit relaxed. We wanted to get to the root of it. And in our recommendations, one of the areas we are looking at is how to ensure that there's a ministry, even if this Northern Development Authority is placed under the Ministry of Local Government, so that the minister is held responsible for the actions and inactions of this agency. I think that will help. So we are not only looking at how to punish people, but we look forward to how we are able to remedy or we are able to amend or even propose some policy changes to central government so as to streamline the operations of such agencies like the NDA.
So how do we resolve this moving forward?
Well, now the Northern Development Authority and all agencies under the Office of the Government Machinery appreciate the fact that they are answerable to the Chief Director of the Ministry. Today, I also made it clear to the Chief Director that, we want to deal with the political actors. So, for instance, if you were to operate under the Office of the Government Machinery, there will be a Deputy Chief of Staff who is responsible for administration. And we want to see that Deputy Chief of Staff because if there ought to be policy changes, if there ought to be some policy advice from the committee, you would want a senior person at that level to be able to fast track or facilitate it so that we can see those changes happening and these infractions not returning to the books. These are some of the steps we have taken to ensure that these things do not happen in the near future.
Okay, and you also you had the response of the minister to your question about the road. Do you have confidence in government completing the project? Aware of the challenges the government face?
In fact, I was a bit humbled by the sincerity of the minister. First, his apology to the good people of this country. I know that in the last 2 weeks, Joy FM and Joy News and other sister stations have been doing a lot of work on that stretch. And it is based on this that I asked the minister. We use the road virtually every weekend, and the challenge on it is quite huge. Already, government has committed some $30 million to the project, the contractor, to continue work, and we are praying that it is given some level of priority so that they fast track it. So the minister has given the commitment with the payment that has been done and the contractor resuming to work. We are hoping and praying that we'll complete this project on time so that commuters will be relieved of the heavy traffic and the burden. Even the body pains that people go through traveling from Insawam to Pokwasi alone is huge. And so we are hoping and believing that the assurance that has been given to the committee will be adhered to.
Okay. Mr. Davis Opoku-Ansah, thank you very much. He's the Vice Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. And that brings us to business. And George Wiafe is here with the latest. George, what's coming up in business?
Well, coming up, some oil marketing companies finally adjust prices at the pumps in line with industry data, but market leader Star Oil keeps to its old values. And President John Mahama projects a single-digit inflation for Ghana by end of year, but further upgrade of the country's credit ratings in the next review. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, Sintus Tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal. Welcome back to business. Let's now settle for the details. Now, some major oil marketing companies have started reviewing their prices at the pumps in line with industry projections. It is coming after most of them held on to their old prices, even though they should have been adjusted from over the weekend. We have details in this report.
Based on industry data, a litre of petrol should have been increased by 3%, while that of LPG will be increased by a little over 2% per kilogram. But that of diesel was supposed to be reduced by just under 1% per litre. However, Guel, which currently occupies the second position in terms of market share, took the lead yesterday by reviewing price of some of its products. The firm kept the price of petrol unchanged at 12 cedis, 88 pesos per litre. Diesel, on the other hand, went down by 8 pesos to 14 cedis, 88 pesos per litre. Total Energies dropped the price of petrol by 1 peso to 12 cedis, 88 pesos per litre. VAT of diesel also went down by 3 pesos, and it will now be selling at 14 cedis, 30 pesos at their service stations across the country. Shell has kept the price of petrol unchanged. However, diesel witnessed one of its biggest drop in recent times, going down by 44 pesos per litre. But among the top 5 oil marketing companies, Star Oil has kept its prices unchanged. It is not clear for now why most of the oil marketing companies held on to their prices that long, even though the adjustment should have happened over the weekend.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, President John Mahama has revealed that he expects inflation to hit a single-digit target by the end of this year. He has also announced that government is working to remove the minimum capital requirement for foreign investors. The president disclosed this in a meeting with investors in Yokohama, Japan.
We are re-establishing macro stability and the growth momentum of the economy. Inflation rose to a high of almost 23% in 2024 and is currently down to 13.7%. And we expect that by the end of the year to hit single digit. And it's also, our cedi has stabilized. For those of you who know the history of the Ghanaian cedi, it's been one of the most volatile currencies in Africa. A few years back, we were said to be the worst performing currency. I'm happy to announce that this year, Ghana cedi has been the best performing currency in the world. And as Simon said, we've been upgraded from junk status to B- with a stable outlook. And I'm certain that in the next review, we're going to be upgraded again. We're open for business, and Simon and Co are busy at work reviewing the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act.
And that is President John Mahama. Now, the Ghana Union of Trade Association has stated that proposals to scrap the minimum capital requirement for foreign investors will not affect their sector. President John Mahama has announced that government is working to review the investment laws that seeks to ensure that foreign investors have at least a minimum capital of $1 million. But President of the Union, Joseph Obeng, tells Joy Business, as far as they are concerned, the trading sector will be excused.
The president's intention is clear. The president has not gone to Japan to seek for traders to come and trade here. He has gone to Japan to seek for investors for more productive sectors of the economy, like manufacturing, like agriculture, intensive areas where the locals cannot do business. And so it is obvious that they are talking about all other areas apart from trading. And because the trading, when it came to revision and all that, we sat down with GIPC, and even with the minimum requirement of $1 million, where we want them to up it to about $2 million, because it is not in the government's own interest.
And that is the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Joseph Obeng. And the president of the Technology Information Confederation Africa, David Go, has called for effective collaborations among African countries to develop tailored tech solutions to meet African needs. Mr. Go explained that Africa can only be a global leader in the tech space when it begins to embrace locally developed artificial intelligence and other initiatives. He spoke at the 2025 Tech Information Confederation Africa Conference in Accra.
How do we ensure that the solutions that we are developing, we are able to get buyers, we're able to get clients? It starts with collaboration with our neighbors. So we can actually have professionals from here working in other African countries after training. We can also have solutions here that can be deployed in other African countries. That's what we want to do. But technology alone cannot make it happen. We have to collaborate with marketers, we have to collaborate with supply chain. So we are trying to bring all these professionals together and ensure that we have a plan that can be implemented, that can see Africa leapfrog its developmental efforts.
David Go is the president of the Technology Information Confederation Africa. The conference brought together over 500 delegates from 35 African countries. Now, the luckiest firm has officially launched the Season 3 media promotion campaign. The firm is promising some exciting rewards for players whilst giving back to communities across the country. Now, speaking at the launch, Chief Executive Dennis Edichum revealed that this year's edition will reward 100 communities nationwide, including with some exciting prizes.
We will be coming to washing bays across Ghana. We'll be going to restaurants. We'll be going to corporate offices. We'll be visiting hospitals. And these are the communities. We have created the luckiest to affect the ordinary person, the everyday person. This year, we are giving as much as 2.5 million cedis to the luckiest ticket winners.
And that is Dennis Edichum. He is the chief executive of the Luckiest firm that is organizing some interest and promotion to reward Ghanaians and some communities in the country. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Let's do sports.
Yeah, and let's start off with the Joy Sports Invitation, and the countdown is on for that particular competition, which is scheduled for Saturday, 23rd of August. Now, 48 organizations will gather at the University of Ghana Stadium in just 3 days to compete in a variety of disciplines. This year's event is sponsored by Royal Sweet Limited, Ayuda Hub, the Game Energy Drink, Yomi Yogurt, and the Luckiest. Now, the general manager of Samatex FC, Edmond Aka, has hailed the new monetary injection into the Ghana Premier League ahead of the 2025-26 football season. The GFA earlier this month announced every league club will receive 1 million Ghana cedis before the start of the new season as part of the TV broadcast partnership.
From the first up to 15, it's a good thing. It has never happened before. We won the league and took 500,000? Yes, but now the 10th place team is even taking about 500,000 or so. So it's a good thing. We are happy. So everybody is happy here. Everybody is happy here. You know, no clubs are spending, and we need such support from the FA.
Samatex General Manager Edmond Aka speaking there. Now, the Gal Cup Top 4 kicked off earlier today at the University of Ghana Stadium. Henry Ansu's bizarre own goal gave all 3 points to Ghana Premier League champions Bibiani Gold Stars in their opener against Asante Kotoko. Kotoko took the lead through Albert Amwa, then Atakumi equalized for Gold Stars from the spot before Ansu's own goal granted 3 points to Bibiani Gold Stars. Hearts of Oak are currently in action against Hearts of Lions. It's half-time and the Phobians lead by a goal to nil. That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Pearl, what do we have next?
Well, Kenneth, a billboard that popped up overnight at the Flowerport interchange here in Accra, boldly advertising government's no-fees stress policy, has vanished almost as quickly as it appeared. The Education Ministry and the Student Loan Trust Fund disowned it. The Roads Ministry branded it unauthorized, and by the time Joy News got there, the structure was already gone. My colleague Jacqueline and Sumaya Bua visited Flowerport and reports.
You might have seen this very billboard right behind me on social media, which states no fee stress. And on the billboard, we have the president on it with 3 other people behind it. And on this same billboard, we have the logo of the Students Loan Trust Fund and, of course, the Ministry of Education. Some days ago, the Students Loan Trust Fund came out to say that this billboard, it's not for them. Now today, which is 20th August, we saw the Ministry of Roads and Highways issue a statement to say that this billboard has been unauthorized. We got here and we realized that the billboard had been taken off. According to our conversation with residents in this area, it was 2 in here and there was another one at the opposite side. Now let's listen to what the residents have to say when it comes to this very billboard here at Flowerport Interchange.
It was this early morning we came in, we noticed that the billboard has been torn. Because yesterday we are all here throughout, nothing such happened. We did not notice any torn of the billboard.
But so, how many were they?
They are this side 2. One is here and the other one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we noticed this side one has been removed and the other one has been torn.
Okay, we also saw another video on social media. When you're coming from this side too, there was another one there.
Yes, exactly.
But
exactly.
It's also not there.
Oh, for that one, I don't notice that
okay.
it has been removed.
And try open na billboard na ewo.
We free 8 to 9 now. But no time ba 10 to 11 name.
Okay. It has also na ye 2 ana say say ewo ha.
2.
Oh, okay. Billboard na ewo.
I know. No.
Na so and you pay e buy no.
Anopa 10 11 when I notice a few. Tell me beside my colleague back to say I don't know why. I don't know if you no so we are doing mass. The new time I'll be if you.
Oh, okay. We just finished speaking to the residents here at the Flowerport Interchange, and they all seem not to know the genesis and the revelation of the billboard that was erected right here. Just as you heard from them, who brought it here and who took it down is the big question of the day. Reporting for Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Asuma Yeboah.
And joining us now is the MC for Lejokuku Israel Ajete. Thank you for your time on Newsnight.
Thank you, my sister.
When was this billboard put down? Was it after the Ministry of Roads and Highways issued a directive or before?
Oh, it was before. Yesterday night. In fact, before we've done assessment of the said billboard. We called the various departments, the school, the school loan, student loan department, and all those people. We called them to verify whether they know anything about it. And we had the information that nothing was happening. We just went there to pull it down.
Do you know who mounted this billboard?
No, we are still investigating.
But
the person did it in the dark, and we don't know the person up to now. That's why we went around verifying from all the quarters, the urban roads department, the student loan. You know, the person initially, the person used the president, on it. So we need to verify to see if really people at higher authorities know something about it before we do the needful. And yesterday we did the needful.
Mr. Ajete, a whole municipal assembly, you don't know who mounted this billboard?
We don't know who mounted it. It was mounted in the dark on the blind side of all of us. We saw it in the morning. We went ahead to verify from all angles, and the angles we verified from, they all said they know nothing about it. We also know nothing about it per our records. You could see that the person wants to take that space and initially use the president's image on it. And since it's unauthorized, we need to pull it down. So we did so yesterday.
What measures is the Assembly putting in place to prevent the unauthorized installation of billboards?
In fact, today it's not only that one. We put down a lot of, especially those that are closer to the rules. We've done a lot of it today. We are putting in serious measures so that such a thing will not happen again.
Thank you very much, Israel Ajete. He's the MCE for Lejokuku. Also joining us now is the president of the Advertisers Association of Ghana, Andrew Aka. Thank you for your time on Newsnight. So for the benefit of the public, can you walk us through the proper process an advertiser must follow before mounting a billboard?
Okay, so there's a whole laid out procedure on how billboards would have to be mounted. But before that, let me just talk about the modus operandi of these people that we call nameless and faceless individuals who are within our industry and actually causing havoc by mounting illegal billboards, haphazardly. We don't know these guys, but unfortunately, if you heard what the MC or the person representing the MC said, they don't know who these guys are. But the MCs are the ones who hold the law that governs, that they are supposed to be implementing the guidelines of mounting billboards. So there itself is where the problem is. You have the law, but you are unable to determine how people who are supposed to play in that industry are able to, cause such havoc or to misrepresent themselves in that situation. But I must say that there's a guideline on how people have to be mounted, and this was put together the 2019 version by Ghana Standards Authority together with Urban Roads, Ministry of Highways, National Road Safety Authority, the AAG, and it's about 98-page document.
Mr. Aka, we'll have to come back to you again later for more education on this. Mr. Andrew Aka is the president of the Advertisers Association of Ghana. Kenneth?
Well, Pearl, farmers in Ghana are turning the corner on tradition, moving away from diesel-powered threshers to a cleaner, smarter, and more sustainable alternative. Well, the solar-powered thresher, developed by E-Powers, in collaboration with Redial, is designed to cut emissions, lower costs, and ease the workload of cereal farmers. Built to last for decades, it can run throughout the day and store power for use at night and even in cloudy conditions. Mohammed Nuruddin has more in today's Climate Focus series.
The solar-powered thresher has replaced the diesel-run model, utilizing clean energy to thresh crops while promoting sustainable, climate-friendly, renewable energy use and reducing operational cost. It aims to facilitate a transition from fossil fuels to cleaner energy sources for threshing and alleviate the labor-intensive task associated with diesel-powered threshers. This innovation will help farmers more efficiently prepare their produce for market. Aramani Tewia from E-Powers Construction explains how the solar energy is captured and stored for use.
This system has been built intelligently in order to cut when there is an overvoltage, undervoltage, and also other faults that the system is able to detect.
The system will last between 20 and 30 years of usage.
This system is built to last for about 6 hours every day. That can be able to help these farmers in order to thresh their maize, their millet, their sorghum, and other cereals they currently farm over here. These batteries is also, as I stated, helping them in order to actually save them power so that during the night and cloudy condition, they can be able to use it.
The solar-powered thresher will be managed by the Post-Redial Management Committee to ensure that beneficiaries of the project continue to benefit from the gains of the project. The Redial Monitoring and Evaluation Officer, Faustina Povo, says the introduction of the solar system is part of the collective efforts of sustainable agriculture and climate action.
The Redial project introducing the thresher is aimed at contributing to lower emissions. As we are all aware, emissions is on the rise, and one of the key contributors is fossil fuel. And so the introduction of the solar is to harness the benefits of green energy, which would ensure that the production and the threshing services are done without emission.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
Well, that's all time will allow for tonight's edition of News Night. My name is Kenneth Jesse.
My name is Pelo Furi.
Have a good evening.